In the ancient world, before the rise of civilizations and empires, before the first cities were built or the first kings ruled, the earth was a wild and untamed place. Vast forests stretched as far as the eye could see, rivers meandered through untouched valleys, and the sky was painted with the colors of dawn. It was a time when humanity was still young, and the mysteries of existence loomed large over every horizon. Out of this primordial world came a story so powerful, so enduring, that it has echoed through the corridors of time, crossing boundaries of language, culture, and belief. It is a story of a divine command, a warning from the heavens, and a flood so immense that it would change the course of human history forever. This is the tale of a world on the brink, and the extraordinary events that would follow. At the heart of this epic stands one man, chosen not for his strength or his wealth, but for his unwavering faith and righteousness. This is the story of Noah, a man tasked with an impossible mission, to save the future of all living things. Against all odds, he would become the architect of survival, the builder of hope, and the keeper of a promise that would echo through the ages. Noah's Ark, as recounted in the Book of Moshe, is far more than a simple tale of survival against the odds. It is a profound symbol of faith in the unseen, of obedience in the face of ridicule, and of the consequences of turning away from what is right. For countless generations, this story has served as a reminder of the power of belief and the importance of listening to a higher calling, even when the world stands against you. According to the word of Yah, the world had fallen into darkness. Mankind, once innocent, had become wicked and corrupt. Violence, greed, and selfishness had spread like a plague, poisoning the hearts of people everywhere. The earth itself seemed to groan under the weight of humanity's sins, and YAHUWAH, the Creator, looked upon his creation with sorrow and anger. He decided that the only way to restore balance was to cleanse the earth with a great and terrible flood. Yet in the midst of this corruption there was one man who stood apart. Noah, a humble and righteous man, walked with YAHUWAH. He lived a life of integrity, refusing to be swept away by the wickedness around him. While others mocked the idea of judgment, Noah listened, prayed, and remained steadfast in his faith. It was this unwavering devotion that set him apart and earned him the favor of the divine. One day, Noah received a message that would change his life forever. He was instructed to build an ark, a massive wooden vessel, unlike anything the world had ever seen. The dimensions were staggering: 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. In modern terms, that's about 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet tall. Imagine a ship longer than a football field, towering above the landscape, its frame rising like a mountain of hope amid a sea of doubt. The ark was to be constructed from gopher wood, a material both strong and resilient, and sealed with pitch inside and out to make it watertight. It would have 3 decks, providing space for Noah's family, supplies, and, most importantly, the animals that would be saved from the coming deluge. Every detail was carefully planned, every measurement precise. This was not just a boat, it was a lifeboat for the future of the world. Noah's mission was clear: to preserve life in all its diversity. 2 of every kind of animal, male and female, would be brought aboard the ark. From the smallest insect to the mightiest beast, every creature had a place in this floating sanctuary. Alongside them would be Noah's family, his wife, his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives. Together, they would become the caretakers of a new beginning. As Noah set to work, he became a figure of curiosity and ridicule. Day after day he warned his neighbors of the coming judgment, urging them to turn from their ways and seek forgiveness, but the people only laughed, dismissing his warnings as the ramblings of a madman. They could not imagine a world-ending flood, nor did they believe that one man's faith could make any difference. Yet Noah persisted, driven by a sense of duty and a trust in the promise he had received. For 120 years Noah labored. He cut timber, shaped beams, and assembled the ark piece by piece. All the while the skies grew darker, and the air seemed to thicken with anticipation. Animals began to gather, drawn by an unseen force, as if they too sensed the coming storm. The world watched in disbelief, but Noah pressed on, his faith unshaken. At last, the day arrived. The ark stood ready, its massive doors open to receive its precious cargo. Noah, his wife, his sons, and their wives entered the ark, their hearts heavy with both fear and hope. As the last animal crossed the threshold, the doors were closed, sealing them inside. Outside, the world remained oblivious to the fate that was about to unfold. Then it began. The first raindrops fell, gentle at first, tapping against the wooden hull. The earth, parched and cracked, drank in the water, unaware of the torrent that was to come. Within moments the rain intensified, turning from a drizzle to a downpour, and then to a relentless deluge. For 40 days and 40 nights the heavens opened. Rain poured from the sky in sheets while the fountains of the deep erupted from below. Rivers overflowed, lakes became seas, and the very foundations of the earth seemed to tremble. The noise was deafening, the darkness absolute. It was as if the world itself was being washed clean, every trace of the old swept away by the power of the flood. The floodwaters rose higher and higher, swallowing everything in their path. Mountains disappeared beneath the waves, cities and villages vanished without a trace. The world as it had been was gone, replaced by an endless ocean stretching to the horizon. All that remained was the ark, a solitary vessel adrift in a sea of chaos. Yet, within the ark, life endured. The animals, once wild and restless, found peace in their new home. Noah and his family cared for them, feeding and tending to their needs even as the storm raged outside. In the darkness they clung to hope, trusting that the promise of deliverance would be fulfilled. For 150 days the ark floated upon the waters, carried by the currents with no land in sight. The days blurred into weeks, the weeks into months. Inside the air was thick with the sounds of life, animal calls, whispered prayers, the creak of wood. Outside the world was silent save for the endless rush of water. At last the waters began to recede. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the flood gave way to dry land. Muddy hills emerged from the depths and the sun broke through the clouds for the first time in months. The world was changed, but it was not destroyed. Life, against all odds, had survived. The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat, a rugged and remote region in what is now eastern Turkey. Here, high above the valleys below, Noah and his family waited, watching as the world was reborn. To test the land, Noah released a raven, which flew back and forth until the waters had dried up. Then he sent out a dove, which returned with nothing. A week later he sent the dove again, and this time it returned with an olive leaf, a sign that new life had begun to take root. The olive branch became a symbol of hope and renewal, a promise that the world would flourish once more. When the dove did not return, Noah knew it was safe to leave the ark. The doors were opened, and the animals poured out into the fresh green world, ready to begin anew. In that moment, YAHUWAH made a covenant with Noah and all living creatures. Never again, he promised, would a flood destroy all life on earth. This was a new beginning, a second chance for humanity and the world itself. The covenant was sealed not with words alone but with a sign that would endure for all generations. As a sign of this everlasting promise, YAHUWAH placed a rainbow in the sky. Its brilliant colors arched over the mountains, a reminder of hope after despair, of mercy after judgment. To this day, the rainbow stands as a symbol of peace, renewal, and the enduring bond between the Creator and His creation. But the story of Noah's Ark raises questions that have fascinated scholars, theologians, and explorers for centuries. Is it merely a story of faith, a powerful allegory meant to teach us about obedience and redemption? Or could it be rooted in historical events, a memory of a real cataclysm that shaped the ancient world? Remarkably, flood myths are found in cultures all around the globe. From the Epic of Gilgamesh in ancient Mesopotamia, to the Manu story in Hindu tradition, to tales among Native American and Chinese peoples, the theme of a great flood appears again and again. These stories share striking similarities: a chosen survivor, a vessel of salvation, the preservation of life, and the rebirth of the world. Could they all be echoing a real event, a cataclysmic flood that left an indelible mark on human memory? Some scientists and historians believe that these stories may be rooted in actual events. Geological evidence suggests that massive floods have occurred throughout history, from the sudden inundation of the Black Sea to the melting of glaciers at the end of the last ice age. These events would have been devastating to early human communities, inspiring stories of destruction and survival that were passed down through generations. The search for Noah's Ark has captivated adventurers and archaeologists for centuries. Mount Ararat, with its snow-capped peaks and treacherous slopes, has become the focal point of countless expeditions. Some have risked their lives in the hope of finding the remains of the Ark, driven by faith, curiosity, or the desire to solve one of history's greatest mysteries. Over the years, there have been tantalizing discoveries. Reports of ancient wooden beams buried in ice, mysterious structures revealed by melting snow, and strange formations that some believe could be the remnants of the Ark itself. These findings have sparked debate and fueled the imagination of believers and skeptics alike. Modern technology has added new dimensions to the search. Satellite images have revealed unusual shapes on the mountains, while ancient texts and clay tablets are studied for clues. Each new discovery brings hope, but also raises new questions. Is the Ark still out there waiting to be found? Or is its true legacy something deeper, an enduring message of faith, resilience, and the power of new beginnings? Despite decades of searching, no definitive evidence has been verified. Skeptics argue that the Ark is a myth, a story meant to inspire rather than record history. Yet the search continues, driven by the hope that one day, the truth will be revealed. Whether or not the Ark is ever found, its story remains a powerful testament to the human spirit. For millions around the world, Noah's Ark is more than a story. It is a source of inspiration and hope. It reminds us that, even in the darkest times, faith can light the way. It teaches us that obedience, even when difficult, can lead to salvation. And it offers the promise of a second chance, not just for one man, but for all of humanity. The story of Noah is a story of courage in the face of overwhelming odds. It is about standing firm when others doubt, about holding on to hope when the world seems lost. It is a reminder that each of us has the power to make a difference, to choose faith over fear, and to build something lasting even when the storms of life rage around us. And as the sun rises on a new world, the message of the Ark endures. It is a call to unity, to compassion, and to stewardship of the earth. It challenges us to care for one another, to protect the vulnerable, and to cherish the gift of life. In every generation, the story of Noah's Ark invites us to reflect on our own choices and to seek a better path forward. In times of darkness, when hope seems distant and the future uncertain, the image of the Ark, adrift but unbroken, reminds us that even the greatest storms will pass. It is a beacon of hope, a symbol of endurance, and a testament to the power of faith. In moments of chaos, when the world feels out of control, the story of Noah's Ark calls us to remember that order can emerge from disorder, and that new beginnings are always possible. As we look back on this ancient tale, we are reminded that the lessons of the past still speak to us today, urging us to build, to believe, and to hope. And so, we must ask ourselves, if the flood came again, whether literal or metaphorical, would we be ready? Would we have the courage to stand apart, to do what is right, even when others doubt? Would we build our own arks of hope, compassion, and resilience, ready to weather whatever storms may come? Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through one of history's most enduring stories. We hope you've been inspired to look deeper, to ask questions, and to find your own meaning in the tale of Noah's Ark. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more fascinating explorations of history's greatest mysteries and legends. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to life in our community of history enthusiasts and be part of the conversation as we uncover the secrets of the